Hi, I'm James.
And I'm Laurent.
And this is Beedi, our little Pomsky.
And today's video is going to be about Pomsky's size and weight.
Size seems to be a major concern of new Pomsky parents. How big is my puppy going to be? Will my puppy be 5 pounds like a Pomeranian or 50 pounds like a Husky?
In this video, we'll give you all the answers to these questions.
So let's go!
So the answer everybody has been waiting for is...
Drum roll, please.
28 pounds.
We surveyed a lot of Pomsky owners, and the average weight of a Pomsky was 28 pounds.
But as you'll see in this video, there is nothing average about a Pomsky.
28 pounds was the average, but Pomskys can be as small as 10 pounds.
Or as big as 50 pounds.
We're sure there's at least one teacup Pomsky somewhere that weighs less than 10 pounds.
Or a giant Pomsky that weighs more than 50 pounds.
But it's fair to assume that your Pomsky is going to be somewhere between these two endpoints.
10 to 50 pounds is a huge range. So why is that?
Well, in the beginning, there was a Husky mom and a Pomeranian dad.
And through the miracle of science, someone managed to breed the two of them together and created the Pomsky.
Ta-da! As more and more Pomskys started to roam the earth, Pomskys were able to breed on their own and no longer needed Huskies or Pomeranians.
Those were second generation Pomskies. And by the way, when you research Pomskies, you see all these acronyms F1 and F2, F1B, F1X.
Rest assured that on this channel, we will never use any of these code words.
We will always speak in plain English, which coming from me is kind of ironic.
We'll use terms that everybody can understand, like first generation Pomsky or second generation Pomsky.
Or 50% Husky and 50% Pomeranian, or 75-25.
Anyway, back to our graph. So far, whether they're first generation or second generation, all our Pomskys are 50% Husky and 50% Pomeranian.
Where it gets complicated is that now you can breed a Pomsky male with a Husky female, and you end up with a dog that is 25% Pomeranian and 75% Husky.
Like Rocco here. Or you can breed a Pomsky female with a Pomeranian male and end up with a dog that is 25% Husky and 75% Pomeranian.
Like Appa here. And all these dogs are still called Pomskies. To make things even more complicated, you also have shady breeders that are jumping on the Pomsky bandwagon.
Because Pomskys sell for big money.
And they are breeding God knows what with God knows what.
As long as the puppies look like they have some Husky in them, you can pass them off as Pomskies on the internet.
So please make sure you use a reputable breeder.
We got Beedi from Oxsana Perfect Pomsky. They're one of the oldest Pomsky breeders in the country.
And by the way, this video is not sponsored by Perfect Pomsky.
We just had a great experience with them. We'll put their contact details in the description box below.
The fact that 1, you can mix 2 breeds of such different size, and 2, you can have Pomskies that are only 25% Husky or 75% Husky is the main reason behind such a wide range.
If you compare Pomskys versus Huskies, you can see that at 28 pounds, Pomskys are about half the size of Huskies, which are 51 pounds on average.
But you can see that at 50 pounds, large male Pomskies can actually get bigger than small female Huskies, which can be as small as 30 or 35 pounds.
But what's even more interesting is comparing a mixed breed like a Pomsky with a purebred like a Shiba Inu.
The average Shiba Inu is 23 pounds. That's 5 pounds less than the average Pomsky, but the range of Shiba Inus is a lot narrower than Pomskys.
A small Shiba Inu will be 12 pounds, while a large Shiba Inu will be 40 pounds.
That's only a 28-pound difference as opposed to a 40-pound difference between a large and a small Pomsky.
In mathematical terms, that's a standard deviation of 5.5 for Shiba Inus versus 9.5 for Pomskys.
And to round up our breed comparison, let's add Kleekais to the mix.
Kleekais are another breed that people often confuse with Pomskys like Beedi.
Kleekais are only 17 pounds on average. They are a lot smaller than the average Pomsky.
But the larger Kleekais can be as big as 30 pounds, which are a little bit more than the average Pomsky.
Another big question people often ask is whether the size variability goes away with second generation Pomskys.
You would think it would. With first generation Pomskys, you have a huge Husky mom and a tiny Pomeranian dad. With the second generation Pomskys, both parents are mid-sized Pomskys.
Well, it turns out that it's absolutely not the case. There is just as much variability with second generation Pomskies. They still have the big Husky genes and the tiny Pomeranian genes intertwined, even if there is a middleman in between.
So let's take the example of Beedi, who's a second generation Pomsky.
Beedi's mom is a Pomsky called Ginger. Ginger weighs around 30 pounds. She's white and dark brown with short husky hair, and she has one blue eye and one copper eye.
And Beedi's dad is a Pomsky called Timber. Timber is around 25 pounds, a little bit smaller than Ginger, but not too much smaller. Timber is white and light brown with very woolly hair and blue-greenish eyes.
Beedi came from a litter of 6 puppies, and we're still in touch with 4 of her 5 siblings.
Beedi is the smallest of the litter.
She's only 21 pounds. She's white and light brown, and she has the short husky hair like her mom, and she has copper eyes.
Her first sibling is called Leo. Leo is 26 pounds. He's completely white and completely fluffy like his dad, and he has blue eyes.
Her second sibling is called Oliver, and Oliver is 35 pounds, bigger than both his mom and dad. He's white and dark brown with short hair just like his mom, and he also has blue eyes.
Her third sibling is called Sky. Sky is very similar to Oliver, but with a little bit lighter coloring and with much longer legs. And she's 31 pounds, also bigger than her mom and dad.
And her last sibling is Simba. Simba is 34 pounds, and he has the long woolly hair of his dad, but the dark brown hair of his mom.
As you can see, that's a lot of variety in size, shape, weight, color, and hair length within the same litter, even for a second generation Pomsky.
With some puppies replicating the characteristics of their parents, and some having characteristics that neither parent had.
Another relative of Beedi lives in our neighborhood. His name is Theo, and he came from the same breeder as Beedi.
Theo is also a second generation Pomsky, but he's only 12 pounds. His coloring is very similar to Beedi's, and people at the pet store sometimes get them confused.
But he has much longer hair than Beedi, and he's more Pomeranian looking.
And Theo's dad just launched a new brand of dog treats. It's called Pup Pawnaderia.
They're all natural dog treats with no preservatives or chemicals.
They only use human-grade ingredients with nutrients and vitamins that help your puppy grow.
And they're inspired by Mexican traditional recipes.
And by the way, Pup Pawnaderia is not sponsoring this video. We just want to thank him for all his help on our videos.
And the last topic we want to cover in this video is how much Pomskys grow over time.
This seems to be a major question for new Pomsky owners. A little ball of fur shows up at 8 weeks old, and owners are wondering, how big is this little ball of fur going to be?
And here again, like everything else with Pomskys, the answer is, it depends.
We surveyed a lot of Pomsky owners to come up with this curve. It shows the evolution of a Pomsky's weight from 8 weeks old to 1 year old.
Let's say your puppy has a weight of X at 8 weeks. A typical Pomsky puppy will see their weight increase by 50% at 3 months and double at 4 months.
And then at 6 months, their weight increases to 2.5 times their puppy weight.
And 6 months is the age when their growth really starts to slow down.
At 8 months, their weight almost triples, and at 12 months, it's 3.4 times their puppy weight on average.
At a year old, Pomskys are more or less done growing. They may still bulk up a little bit, but we're only talking a pound or two after that.
But this graph is only an average. And as you should know by now, there is no such thing as an average Pomsky.
Some Pomskys grow a lot less than that, and their weight at 12 months doesn't even triple.
While other Pomskys grow a lot more than that, and their weight at 12 months is 4.5 times their weight at 8 weeks old.
The rule of thumb is that it's the really small puppies, the ones with a lot of Pomeranian genes, that will see their weight quadruple.
While the bigger puppies, the one with more Husky genes, will only see their weight triple.
But here again, these are really rough guidelines. Every Pomsky is different.
A reputable breeder should be able to tell you, by looking at their paws, their snout, their bone structure, they should know if your puppy is more Husky or more Pomeranian.
And even then, there are still surprises.
You never know with Pomskys.
You never know.
We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did,
Give it a big thumbs up.
and if you want to subscribe to our channel,
We're going to put a link right here.
and if you want to watch our other Pomsky videos, we're going to put one right here and another one right there.
Bye. Beedi says bye.